For 12. All right, it's Wednesday, middle of the road for days, top of the heat for tiers. Nick's got his newest NFL Tiers 2 unveil. Lots to factor in after week 1. You got a little Mahomes magic. You got a little Dak versus Brady drama. You got some Stafford and Jameis lighting it up. I'm sure that led to some Dan Campbell-sized coffees for Nick and the committee last night. Yeah. Nick Wright, take us through your NFL Tiers entering week 2.
All right, some movement at the top and the bottom. And you're going to see it. I was overruled by the committee on a few of these teams. They said, Nick, you might be the founding chairman of the committee. However, you are not the only vote. So let's reveal first. Listen, the New York Giants are the worst team in the league. They're going to be the worst team in the league. They're officially on Rattler watch. They have no present and no future. It's a total abject disaster for the Giants. They're the worst team in New York. Red alert. Listen, this is one of the places I was overruled. I said, hey, committee, can I show you some pictures of Trevor Lawrence's neck? They said, Nick, that's stupid. We don't know why you keep bringing it up. His team has lost 16 games in a row. They just got annihilated by the Texans. I'm like, I still like them. They said, shut up, Nick. They're on red alert. Everyone knows the Lions are on red alert, except for Wilds, who evidently thinks the last 90 seconds of that football game really mattered. And, of course, the Jets, as long as the Bears are starting Dalton, they're on red alert. Next, show me the next group of teams. All right, going to get some hate mail. Happy, soon sad. These are teams that won, but the committee does not believe in them. Eagles and Raiders fans, I know. Your teams played great. Yeah, the Eagles just had a massive victory over Atlanta. The Raiders, a huge victory on Monday Night Football. Don't believe in you. Apologies. The next 4 teams, no apologies. No one believes in you. Week 1 disasters. Titans, bad at everything. You're supposed to be the favorites in the division. The Washington. You already had the worst quarterback situation, one of them in the league, and then you had the only quarterback injury of week 1. That's a disaster. The Patriots, you're fighting with the Dolphins to be the second best team in the AFC East. You lose your home game to the Dolphins. Can't happen. Falcons were the worst team in football this weekend. Vikings and Colts were the Vikings and the Colts. It's like, oh, that's about what we expected. All right, next group of teams. So this is steady but unspectacured. Cowboys, Chargers, Dolphins. I think they did exactly what most of us thought they would do. Cowboys, good offense, but lose. Chargers, Herbert find a way to win. Dolphins, some of us thought they would beat the Patriots in a defensive battle, which they did. Week 1 surprises. Committee said, this is where we got in a little bit of fights. Committee said, Nick, these are surprises to you, but maybe not to all of us. A lot of people thought the Saints would be good. I did not, but they were excellent. The Cardinals were spectacular on both sides of the ball, and the Steelers going to Buffalo and winning that game down double digits at halftime, they moved themselves up. Now, the cream of the crop, the best teams in football, let's reveal it. We have some movement here as well. Fringe contenders. Seattle stays there, but they could move up. They were excellent. They're there with a win. Baltimore, on the other hand, stays there, but they're moving down, as is Buffalo. True contenders, some movement. Green Bay drops down to the true contender line. San Francisco and Tampa with their wins, they stay where they are. Number 1 contenders moving up is the LA Rams. Great performance both sides of the ball. Stafford looked excellent. The Browns, they lost. Why didn't they move down? Well, they lost to a team everyone's going to lose to this year. They had a 4th quarter lead. The vast majority of teams won't be able to say that at Arrowhead. So the Browns don't get dinged at all. And then, of course, the 20-0 watch is officially on. If the Chiefs aren't going to lose that game, what game are they going to lose? So there it is. The committee's tiers. There were some tiers for me because I had to downgrade the Falcons. I had to downgrade the Jags. But the committee, at some point, I've got to take their opinions, to heart. Bruce Sarge, you're shaking your head. You think I should have just gone with all my gut, ignored the committee? I agree. But you love this. This is perfect. Tell me.
All right, look, buckle up. All right, we're going to be here a while. Wilds, go get some coffee. We're going to be here a while.
Okay.
All right, number 1, Jackson. Look, I get it, Nick, that Jacksonville being on red alert, that's no compliment, all right? But I got to say they were a week 1 disaster. I guess that's higher, but that describes them perfectly. This was a disaster. You lose to Tyrod Taylor and the worst team in the NFL. You get destroyed. Come on, that's week 1 disaster. Then New England, how in the world is New England a week 1 disaster? They lost by a point to a 10-win team. The rookie quarterback was spectacular. 281 yards. He broke the legendary Rick Myers record for rookie debuts in terms of efficiency.
Wow.
I mean, Mac Jones was great. There is no way that was a disaster. You know what was a disaster, though? Your Baltimore Ravens. How in the world are they on the fringe of contention? You know, they're on the fringe of falling apart. All right, literally, everybody's getting injured, including one of their offensive linemen on the line that couldn't protect Lamar anyway. So drop them. Now let's get to the big boys. The continued disrespect for Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's just over the line, Nick. I'm sorry. Cleveland lost. Cleveland's 0-1. How in the world are they ahead of the Buccaneers? When you sat on this TV show and you said what? Baker Mayfield cannot get it done in the clutch. You know who can get it done in the clutch? Tom Brady. So switch those two. You switch those two. The Rams, how in the world do the Rams leapfrog the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? The Buccaneers beat a team that we both think is going to make the playoffs. And the Rams beat a hapless Bears team that has no identity, has a quarterback controversy, doesn't know what it wants to do. The coach is on the hot seat. Come on, man. The committee,
all right,
they need to rethink this.
Yeah.
They need to rethink this now.
All right, so your real beef is with the Bucs, and you seem to have, an issue with the fact that an 0-1 team would be ahead of a 1-0 team. I would suggest to, soothe your soul, you go to CBSSportsline.com or an AOL homepage where they sort things by record. That's called a standings. This is a tiers. This is more of a power rankings. Yikes. So we're not just going to have 1-0. The 16 1-0 teams are up top. The 16 0-1 teams are on the bottom. There is some nuance. That's first of all. Second of all, you are lying to yourself if you do not admit the Tampa defense worried you a bit. A defense that has a lot of older players on that D-line like Sue and JPP, that has some question marks in the secondary and suffered an injury in that secondary, the weakest part of the team, that watching Dak in his first game in 10.5 months dice them up, watching CeeDee Lamb look like Jerry Rice, that didn't concern you a bit. I didn't move the Bucs down. I just kept them where they are. Now, as far as Baltimore, just quickly, there is some element of we are not going to overreact. You are overreacting to week 1 losses with Baltimore and somewhat with Buffalo. We want to properly react, and so that's why they don't get dinged terribly. But your real issue is that I'm not, worshiping at the altar of the Tampa Bay Bucs. I understand that's, Chris Broussard growing up, split jersey, Clippers one side, Tampa Bay Bucs the other. It's your lifelong team. I understand this is close to home for you, but I think the committee nailed this personally, Wild. I think the committee nailed it.
Oh, boy.
What's your issue, Wild?
Yeah, well, as you know, I always find the committee quite fondly. I always wish I would be on the committee one day. But I would like to make a petition for one team that is near and dear to my heart and Ulysses' heart, fresh from Foxborough, with a reason why the Patriots should be moving up your power rankings. Broussard touched on it. I just want to dig in a little bit for the following reasons contained herein. Henceforth, I don't have a paper, I just have my computer.
Henceforth.
Reason number 1, historic Mac Jones. As Broussard mentioned, highest completion percentage by a rookie as week 1 starter in history. Did New England find their future franchise quarterback? I would say yay. Reason number 2, loss anomaly. Yes, we lost, we get it. It's the most penalties we've had in 22 games. We had won 47 games in a row. Yes, 47 games in a row when having the ball for 36 minutes. We hadn't lost since week 8, 2000. Will that happen again? No. We lost multiple fumbles for the first time in 46 games. Will that happen? No. I could see if this was a trend. This was not. It was just a random anomaly. And finally, the future is bright. You might say, how can that be true? You lost week 1. Are you talking about Mac Jones? No. I'm talking about Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. Occasionally stumbles out of the gate. Occasionally will go up and get trounced like we did in Buffalo. And you know what happens when the Patriots lose week 1? Oh my heavens. Oh, Ulysses, do you see this graphic? Super Bowl champs, Super Bowl champ. Oh, no, they took the graphic off. 4 Super Bowl champs and a Super Bowl appearance. So am I worried? No. Is Belichick worried? No. So for that reason, I would like you to move the Patriots up the tiers. Good day.
Okay.
It's a convincing argument.
So except it's not at all, because it ignores this factor. You were at home against the team that you are going to be competing with for the final AFC playoff spot, and you lost. One could argue, if we were doing leverage points of most important games on the schedule, the home game against the Dolphins is the most, well, I'm saying, regardless of which week it's in, if we're putting a value on games you need to have, week 1, set that part aside, at home against a team you're neck and neck with is one you need. And one other thing, because I have on this show and on all the shows, we've just been, rookie quarterbacks. I mean, in week 1, there was Mac Jones, then there was everybody else. They're so smart. He's so efficient. Did so many things well en route to scoring 16 points and 1 touchdown. He also did this. And for a guy who's not going to be spectacular, but has to know not to make the dumb play, this right here is, what's the word for that? Not great. The old, I'm going to spike the ball backwards minutes into the game.